Um, Hi everyone, welcome to today's India meetup. We are really glad to have you around, especially for the fact that we've been hosting meetups throughout the year and we are coming to the end. And so today's meetup is more about socializing. As you have heard, Okot say, like almost every time he introduces himself, he says he's a struggling front-end developer. So this is a good opportunity to interact, share opportunities, also share ideas on how you can become a better developer, not specifically in relation to Flutter, but just generally. Besides that, feel free to turn on your video because it's like a coffee and talk chat. So we'd like to know you more besides uh, the name written on your Zoom list. So yeah, that's it. So besides that, an intro of myself. My name is Maureen Josephine, for those who don't know me. My worst meal is, do I have a worst meal? Yeah. So growing up, I also hated the bitter herbs, bitter, bitter vegetables like mto and dek and the rest. That still remains my worst meal until maybe unless someone convinces me otherwise, or unless someone cooks it in a better way that pleases my taste buds. But yeah, I can only eat it if that's the only meal left in the whole world. So that's it. Of course, you can take it over. So, but before then, our plan is we are going to have um, okay, it's open mic, but we are going to have a structure where we share like what you're working on and probably maybe the struggles you're currently facing. Besides that, any ideas on how to improve your workflow as a developer? Because I'm very sure some people started some projects at the start of the year, but up to now the projects are not complete, me being one of them. So yeah, it's a good opportunity to share and also talk about that. Yeah. Cool.
So, yeah, so I don't know where I'm supposed to start, Maureen. Should I start with what I'm working on or something like that? Yeah,
Yeah.
so in terms of what I'm working on, so when I was growing up, I mean what I mean by growing up in this case is code life. So because that's what unites us together. So when I was growing up, when I started writing code, I was lucky enough to meet some brilliant minds, and they taught me not how to code but how to think, because they believe that coding has something to do with just thinking, not writing the code. Because majority of people will try to to write code. I mean they just head fast, and when things get a little bit complicated, they get, I mean it gets out of one. So with that, so during my growing up time, we had this platform called Academy. I know it's still there, but back then it was free, right? So we used to learn as many languages as you can. I learned JavaScript, which of course I did not learn because to date I can't write JavaScript code properly. And we also I also learned Ruby. I learned HTML and CSS. I don't know how to center divs though. For people who know how to do that, I don't know. So I major in backend, and with that perspective, the reason I'm talking about this is um, Codecademy started charging people, and majority of people learning code, majority of them are usually university students, and it's been lucky enough for us right now. I mean, for people who are learning coding right now, that there are some people who went through the university, realized that maybe we need to expand the network beyond the university, and then they started going into the university through these communities. And I see a lot of people going into the community, to the university, teaching the kids, the students or the kids, where they're still young there, and putting that nini into them. But they don't have a platform such as Codecademy, because for me, Codecademy is the best platform I've ever used. There's no any other coding platform I've used to learn code better than Codecademy, because it introduces you to a concept, and also giving you what we usually call the muscle memories, right? So you're writing the code, and then so at the moment I'm trying to create something like that called Academy, but it's supposed to be free, right? So it's supposed to be free until the day that we start to charge it, just like Code Academy started to be free, and then they started making money out of it. I don't know. And majority of the time, the reason why I started doing this is I do mentor a lot, and I think I don't know if there's anybody in this group. Let me see. Yeah, I know a few people, including Maureen Josephine, who I've mentored. so, so I do a lot of mentoring. So and I was looking at a platform which I can use to mentor people, and I usually direct them to Code Academy, but they usually tell me, okay, Code Academy they're charging 16,000. I don't have that much, so I started working on that. So that's what I'm working on. And the current challenge I'm facing at the moment is like I said, honest to God, I'm not a front-end developer. So the designing and the designing the front end perspective, not the logic, the perspective of the front end, and making it, attractive to me is been difficult, my friend. I've been trying. so, so that, yeah. And also, I'm also having this dream, or maybe and I'm liaising with some organization. I won't name the names still, but we wanted to start a coding school. And the reason why we're doing this is, and I'm not bashing any organization in this, is that you realize that there's some organizations which started coding schools, but you realize that they have like 2,000 students. Okay, 2,000 is too much. 200 students, and then the success rate is 50. Okay, out of this 200, 50%, 50 become successful, or maybe 20, and then they use this 20 to do the marketing, and they do it so rigorously that you think, okay, if I go to this school, it will be good. But for me, I believe that coding is supposed to be taught by somebody who is coding, just like medicine is taught by somebody who is a doctor, because they know what is supposed to be expected in the field. And people are supposed to be introduced to production ready projects as soon as possible. So therefore, I believe in a class of coding, a maximum per teacher should be maybe 5 maximum. A teacher is supposed to handle 5 students, because and most people will disagree with this, but that's my belief, and I think it's the most effective way. And if you do that, the success rate will be more than 90%. I mean, if you take 200 students, uh, out of those 200, 180 will be going to do whatever you taught them. But here you realize that there's a higher rate of dropouts, and yeah, so those are 2 projects I'm working on at the moment.
Awesome. Thank you. That's a lot. And it's great that you are working on something that would be beneficial to the rest. So I would love to go to the next person in the room, because I'm just going to do this randomly, and hopefully share opinions exactly on what you feel about Okot's point on what he feels is the right way to code or to mentor people into coding. But for now, I'll just pinpoint anyone I see in my screen. And if you are in a position to, feel free to turn on your video. So we have Becky. I'm going to choose you to tell us a brief intro of yourself, because you didn't introduce yourself from the start. And because this is just a coffee and talk, you can share with us any struggles you're currently facing and any project you're working on that it would be good for other people to know about. Yeah, and any nuggets of wisdom that you'd love to share as well.
Unfortunately, Maureen, I have just joined.
Yeah, and that's the right opportunity to speak.
And I am so new in this. So I was like, let me just try one of these sessions and just hear what happens and all that. It's just out of curiosity that I joined this this meetup. And to be very frank, I have no clue. I don't know about what project you guys might be focusing on and all that. Please, could you consider me the new kid on the block? Next time I'll come very fired up and ready to rumble. Yeah?
No, that's it's actually an open talk. We are not focusing on any specific topic right now because it's like our Flutter meetups. We usually host like Flutter meetups monthly and invite people to speak about Flutter, the technology, and how to integrate it with other platforms and all that. But being that today is our end year, it's just talking and just giving advice or any nuggets of wisdom that you'd love to. And the previous speaker, who was Okoth, was sharing his struggles. He's better in backend, but not so good in front end. So he can say he has design struggles, and he's also working on Codecademy replica. Yeah, so such. So maybe you can tell us what you are currently doing and any struggles you're currently facing, regardless of what field you are in.
Wow.
Simply that. Yeah.
You really put me on the spot. Okay. What am I? First, my name is Becky, and then I'm a technology enthusiast, not necessarily a guru in that, but I get excited about specifically how we can leverage technology or tech for development, you know, just to bring in social change and all that. Yeah. I can tell you for a fact that I'm not deeply technical. Okay. Yeah, I just use some bit of data sets or some bits of tech ideas and then see how we can drive them or, you know, deepen the engagements within humanitarian activities and, yeah, what we call social good. Am I facing any challenges? I don't know, I just need to think through it so that I don't go so much off topic or off what your expectations are. As I said, I am so new. I think I signed up for this meetup maybe 2 or 3 days ago. And I was like, oh, okay, there's an event happening on Saturday. Why shouldn't I not, you know, just join and hear what exactly happens and all that? I'm quite inquisitive. And yes, so I feel as people are speaking or as they're giving out their information or ideas, I can be able to pick some few things here and there, and then now be able to contribute meaningfully. But for now, I don't know. I'm not even confident in continuing to speak because I might start talking about Nelson Mandela, and yet you guys are talking of maybe Elon Musk, you know? So clearly, I just beg that if you could just give me some few minutes, and then I've just also arrived home, so I just need to breathe a bit, and then I just want to listen. I think today for me was more of listening, and then now I can be able to contribute. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, that's really awesome. Even in your small intro, you already gave like so much about yourself. So it's clear to know what you're currently working on, your focus, which is really, really amazing to the community because I believe that in our tech world, not everyone should be a coder, not everyone should be a data scientist, and not everyone should be like the networker or the network engineer. So thank you so much for that, Becky.
Appreciate it.
Okay, cool. So I'll throw the ball to Mark. Tell us what you're working on and the struggles you're currently facing.
Hello, hey everybody.
Hello, yeah.
Oh, you can hear me. Thank you. So I'm Mark, and I've been I've been here for so long, almost 2 to 3 years, I guess. But the faces I'm finding here, I don't know them. I just know only Maureen. I've seen Maureen only in the meetups. I don't know. But anyway, so currently, I can say I have a very, 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 very big challenge I'm facing. And I don't know how you guys are going to help me out. I mean, an organization that I'm managing interns, and managing interns is a big, big trap for us. So I don't know how you guys can help me out on how to manage them, because working and also training them, and also looking through their codes, it's tiresome and boring at times. Anyway, I'm working on 2 projects at the moment, actually 3 or 4, 3, but one of it I'm not going to mention about it. These ones, let's just leave it there. So one of it is an application I'm working on, and I can say it's just like work. I've been given work to work on it, but I feel like I've put so much effort in it, like I think I own it now. So it's an application meant to find therapists. So if you are stressed, you look for therapists, you talk to them through the application. The data is confidential, no one is going to know about it. You pay, you're sorted out. That's the application I'm working on.
Sorry.
It's a sports news application. Those are the 2 applications I'm talking about. The other one I can, but yeah. So I have no challenge while working on the applications other than the interns. That's what I have. I need help to, like, I want help to formulate a strategy in how I'm going to train them from start to end. They have zero knowledge, so I have to make them understand what is Flutter all the way to uploading an application to the Play Store and the App Store. So if any one of you has got any knowledge on how to do that, I would encourage them to help me out. Well, I'm ready to be helped to help them. Anything else? I would say I started doing Flutter. I've heard what's his name, Okoth saying he went to schools. Myself, I ran Flutter the hard way. I remember we went to Nairobi, met a client, told them I can do Flutter, and I have zero knowledge about it. That's when I was in school. We were given an app to work on. I went back to school. Immediately after class, I go run Flutter, do whatever I've learned. I run again, I do what I've learned. That's how I found myself being a software. Anything else I've missed? Also, I'm an Angular dev. I do front end a bit. But for designing, I don't design. I don't take work that has no design. Me and Okoth are on the same boat. If there's no designs, I'm not taking that one. So you have to give me designs, and I work on it. That's what I do. Now I encourage Okoth to do the same. Take things that have got designs. Okay, nothing much to say. Thank you. Jasmine.
Yeah, Okoth, you can take it over from there. And
Yes.
maybe guide us through, especially on his question on his struggles on mentoring interns. I know you are good at that, so take it over.
Yes, so yeah. I worked with the company which okay, the majority of the okay, most of the employees are interns. So okay. So how do we do this? So for me is it's about, okay, for the record, by the way, I didn't go school in a coding school. I learned coding just like you probably. I don't know. I don't know. But when it comes to intern, it's all about the trust, right? And this is how it works. And when I talk about trust, is you give somebody something, and it usually narrow down to small wins, that is. So let's say you've started teaching the intern, you're training them on what's Flutter. So you can give them, so I don't know the process of what's the process you use to get interns, that is. Do you usually notify people in advance? Because from from a perspective in that, let's say you are looking for Flutter interns and the people who already know Flutter, or the people who are, I mean, totally new. So it depends on what we are dealing with. So if you're dealing with somebody who is totally new, then I'd rather you give them a heads up. What I mean by heads up is you announce the vacancy of internship. I believe that maybe at the university student. So you announce the vacancy of internship 2 months prior, or maybe 3 months, or maybe 1 month prior to the time you are intending to take them in. And then maybe you give them some study materials, so they study on their own, right? So okay, you do the first interview. The first interview will be, or maybe just give them the study materials. Tell them, okay, this is what you're supposed to do, and then I'll be gauging you based on this, maybe. So after the end of this, after the end of 2 months, I'll be gauging you based on this. So they go consume those content on their own. You maybe if you have a Slack channel or something like that, they can always get in touch with you to ask for help once in a while. So asynchronously or synchronously, depending on your time. And then, so I'm talking about the total newbies, that is. So let's say you've given them some materials to go through for 2 months, and then they have understood these materials, and then you do the interview. So the second interview will be the technical skill. So the first interview I usually believe is supposed to be soft skills. You understand if this is somebody you can work with. You don't test their ability to understand Flutter, right? So then the second interview will be the technical. What did they achieve the goal you're intending? They're supposed to know the introduction to Flutter. Have they achieved that? Okay. After that, then you know this is somebody who can define a function. So I'm not supposed to sit there, try to explain to them what a function is. So the only question maybe they'll be having problem with is maybe turning this idea into logic. So maybe that's where you can help them with. So turning the idea into logic, maybe you can tell them, okay, create a function which maybe a function which add the two numbers. This is how supposed to create it. So you're not supposed to explain the details because the intern already know what function is. So that's when you're talking about somebody who already I mean is a newbie. If somebody who is already have something, then you just do the interview, and you must be explicit on your job description that I'm looking for an intern who already have 1 year experience with Flutter. Whether you have been working on a toy app or something. I know somebody who has been working on something for a year has some little bit of the knowledge. So you want to be going through you want to be going through teaching them from scratch. So with those two, so you already have somebody who has something, depending on whether you give them material before the start of the job, or they have the knowledge coming into the job. They have a few knowledge. So after that, it's now the trust, where the trust comes in. So what I mean by trust is you give somebody a job, especially when it comes to intern, you give them jobs which you don't have the urgency with. So to build that I mean, so you know a job is supposed to take a day or maybe 3 hours. You just give the interns, and then you give them 3 days to work on the job. You don't give them pressure. So give them small tasks until they build that confidence of working on that thing. After that, now you say, okay, this job is not supposed to take a week. Now try it in 2 days. If it's supposed to take maybe 6 hours, you say, okay, try it in 2 days. And then after that, now you just now becoming hard on them that no, I know you have the ability to do this job in a day. So now do it in a day, right? So, I mean, and you give the positive review. I think that's that. And try as much as you can to push the interns code to production. These companies which you just write the code, and then you don't see any changes. These people, like, you just feel like, okay, what am I doing in this company? So you come change part of this company. I don't know if anybody. So your code is there, is never seen production. So you feel that you're not productive, but no matter how small this code is, it's supposed to be in production as soon as possible. And I believe with that they can grow. I don't know. That's my opinion when it comes to dealing with them, and I've dealt with them a lot. So I think that usually help. And I think most of the interns I've seen in a year's time, they usually become junior developers. Some go directly to mid senior. mid-level, sorry, and it grows. They grow very fast when you give them opportunity to. That is. That's my response to that.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach.
Okay.
Yeah. That's really great, and I like the point you've mentioned about seeing your code on production or something, because even for me, I can say that when I was getting started and developing something like locally, but you don't really see how it's being used, it kind of gives you that how can I call it? You're not really confident that you are able to achieve that because you don't know how it can work on production. You're just like trying to visualize how it will work, but without necessarily having the real hands-on. So I think that's a really good point. Yep. And maybe Jack, would you maybe share with us what you're currently working on and struggles you're facing? You're muted. Can anyone hear?
Speaking, but the audio is not coming out. I don't know why though. I think he has a problem with his audio. Jack, I believe maybe your input device. I don't know. Maybe the microphone or something. Oh, we can't still hear you, man. I don't know what the problem is. it will force me to learn sign languages. Then I don't know.
Or maybe you can text on the chat because I can't really hear nor understand anything going on.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, cool. So besides that, let me call. Oh yeah, he's trying again. But as he is doing so, maybe we can ask Tony to share something. Anything you're working on and any struggles you're currently facing based on that. And as we're waiting for Tony maybe to get started, I was wondering if we have students around, because I wanted to share, like for me, I had the worst experience as a student, like doing computer science. Yeah, I think they're awesome. Yeah, I had the worst experience as a student doing computer science, especially in Kenya, because most of the time we would go to class, write like the piece of code on paper, and then you try to learn about Java and you're installing, was it NetBeans or what was the NetBeans? So I really hated my coding classes. I used to go when we're approaching exams. But I would also love to hear like how is it currently for current students? Is it still the same? Do you still write code on paper? And do you feel motivated? Because it kind of demotivates someone to even code. I really hated it, but I want to know. Yeah, someone is calling himself senior dev. Senior, is it, is it senior dev or senior?
I was like,
I
this is nice, but I don't know. But
yeah,
it's a
so senior for senior or senior ile ya karai. Yeah, anyway, senior dev.
I think we need
Senior dev is saying that's Kisii University. Yeah. So I would love to hear your point or your opinion on that. Like, how is it right now as a student, as a software engineering student, or as a computer science student, doing in our universities right now? So senior dev, take it over.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can right now. Yeah.
Okay, so currently the experience is just the same. There's no a lot of change on how computer science is taught in our universities. So although there's emphasis that nowadays you have to have your own laptop, you have to come to class with your laptop and do stuff, but the practical aspect that needs to come out of computer science is not there. So you have to do a lot of extra work on your end, practice on your own, just get the fundamentals and then practice. So I wouldn't say that there's a lot of change based on your sentiments.
It's really quite sad, but I would love to know, okay, so if that's what's happening and still happening, what are you currently doing to be like a better person? Because for me, I didn't even want to code after all that. I just said I'll do like any other thing in tech, but not coding. So what are you currently doing to help you with that?
Okay, so personally, at a personal level, I do a lot of projects. Like I engage myself outside work. So school is there, but I spent a lot of time just building products and practicing my stack rather than going to class and just getting those notes and PDFs for the same. So I think it's necessary for one to get out of that comfort, just going to class and then getting the notes and stuff, and really getting down to into building your portfolio. Because when you get out of the university, there's a lot that you need to know, and there's a lot out there for you to do. So it's important for you to kind of practice. If you want to do maybe mobile app development, just get to know what you want to venture into the future, so that it's easier for you to like pick up the various technologies that are out there. Yeah.
Just to defend, okay, I'll be the devil's advocate and defend the universities. And the thing is, I think those people are turned me into, okay, it does not matter whether I do it in my on my computer or maybe on the paper, real paper, like write it. I usually believe that you're supposed to write the idea on a paper. So paper does not mean literal paper. It can be maybe I don't know how is it called nowadays, or app or something. But I usually use paper though. For me, I write it on a paper, and then I transfer it
Mhm.
as a code. So I write things down.
Okay.
It usually gives me the idea of what I'm supposed to do. I don't know whether it's the influence of the university. I don't know, but I usually think through the paper,
Mhm.
and then I write the code. But when it comes to the writing of the code on a paper, I mean in terms of exams and the whatever they're teaching, I don't think that's a good one. But the concept is the most important thing. I know sometimes the paper won't tell you where the syntax error is. Computer can tell you, but you have the general idea. So personally, I usually tell the students that it's the teacher is supposed to
Yeah.
give you 20%. I mean 25%. 75% is yours, and so that's you. So I've gone through the syllabus. I mean the syllabus for Kenyatta University, Jomo Kenyatta University. I think they have one of the, and the rest. I've not seen the most one, but I believe that thing contains everything you need to be a computer scientist. Either the delivery is what is wrong, I mean, in terms of the lecturers, or the students are the people who are not doing the research outside the scope. Because when you go to the university, you're supposed to be a researcher. I mean, you're supposed to do the research beyond what you're taught in class. So I think maybe the messaging can be bad. The professor don't usually tell people to do that, and usually exam oriented, and sometimes the delivery maybe would be the wrong thing. But I think just looking at the syllabus, it's one of the best syllabus I've ever seen, because it contains everything which makes you a computer scientist. and going above and beyond within the scope of that, we will turn into something. Yeah. And yeah, Olivin, I saw your hand up. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. So like, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, we can.
Yeah. So like, a big challenge that we are facing, like something I've observed in the past 4 years I've been in school, is that you get into a programming class and the lecturer does teach you stuff. Some are good, some come with projectors in class, but some don't come with projectors in class. Some come with literally a notebook, some content written in 205 or something, and they teach you something on their own perspective, what they knew at that particular time. So like you'll find the big problem is that they limit the students to what themselves they know. So like they don't take the time to expand that. They say that this can be applied here or there. So you'll find those most of the students, they don't have time to go and research on it because first of all, the class was boring. So like you don't have the cycle of going to research more about it or going to learn more about it or how can I help myself navigate through this. So like you find a challenge is that people will just read for the examinations and they pass the examinations and they close the books. But in the end, they don't know what they've been doing. They have no idea. And if you ask them how to write a program, they don't know how to write a program. So like recently, it has been a big challenge at the institution whereby our chief patrons, they really pushed us, the club leads, to have more sessions whereby we teach people hands-on coding skills so that at least they don't come out of the class empty and leave university empty. They can at least have those skills they require at the industry level. So like we are the ones doing the technical stuff, not the lecturers.
So, Olivin, is it safe to say that maybe it is a societal problem? What I mean the problem of the society, not the lecturers. From this perspective you're talking about is in this you're saying that the you go into the class and then you are oriented to the exams, and the lecturers don't tell you where to apply this and this, and you are bored in class and stuff like that. So do you think that sometimes maybe because majority of people are on, the government sponsored, and those people who are self-sponsored, but self-sponsored people, I know they choose their own courses. So sometimes government chose for you this course and maybe you don't have a choice, you have to do it. So because for me, if I go to a class and I find, okay, personally I change courses 3 times and I went to a class and I say, okay, I can't do this is not my thing, my friend. Okay. The one which I reached, 30, and then I said, okay, no, this is not for me, and I left, and I left just like that. So I don't know whether you can say in a class which is boring and the entire concept is boring, and then you still say stay there. I don't know. But when maybe it's because there are some forces beyond you which is forcing you to be there, and these forces can be society, your parents, they want you to be a computer scientist, or maybe you, because maybe you heard that, okay, when I do this course I'll get a job. So I think if it's that's the mentality is being drawn out, and then we say that we do things we enjoy. I think you can go over and beyond. If you enjoy something, you'll find yourself just finding yourself without even being told. You just find yourself doing things. I don't know. I'm just trying to be the devil's advocate here. Mark.
Uh, I'm just going to say a few words. I remember one lecturer of mine telling us a university is an institution of higher learning, whereby you go there to be taught how to think. It's up to you. Somebody knows what you want. If you want to just go and survive, it's okay. If you want to get out with something, you have to hustle it for yourself. That's all. So, Sinia, I've heard there was another point Sinia saying that he does not go to class. He's only working on projects. That's a very big mistake you're making, and you'll come to regret some years to come. Just be going to class. Make sure you just graduate. You have the degree. Just graduate. It's okay. Create time for class and also create time for your projects. Don't consume all your time in projects to create your portfolio. You need the paper somewhere. I'm done. Thank you.
I don't know whether there's
Of course, you're on mute.
I was wondering if there's still something on the topic. I know it won't end because I know the grudges the students have against their lecturers. I don't understand what's happening there, but yeah, Jack.
Nasikika sai? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Yeah, we can.
Oh, it seemed I fixed it. Okay. So I just had a point up on, I think a lot of us are predisposed to bashing the education sector for some reason. And it makes sense to be unsatisfied given we are competing, we are working in a sector that involves global competition. But personally, I don't see a big problem in how teaching happens in tech. When I said before, majority of it is just yourself, your personal effort. And if you think about it, even globally, a lot of the engineers in other countries, we're usually at the same level. A lot of it, I think, is just people having imposter syndrome and, maybe not having faith in their skill or their abilities, and maybe projecting that into what they feel is insufficient in the system. But I think teachers are doing they're doing a good job in giving us the right framework, because that's all they can really do. This sector changes so much. I went to school wakati tulikuwa tunafunzwa, they're just teaching basically Microsoft based as just Microsoft, the Microsoft environment or universe or whatever. And they're teaching basic, then that evolved to .NET. And then all of a sudden it exploded into web apps and, technologies that build it, coming from Facebook with React and all of that. So everyone who had been working, in anticipation of a Windows environment kind of had to relearn a lot, and I get it. You don't have satisfaction that you're taught C when you think you should be taught Python, purely because it's hype. A lot of it has to do also with hype, making us feel like we're trending in the wrong direction. Yeah. But if you really think about it, you can do so much with even the language that you're taught in school, with the skills that you're given. You can do so much with it. Yeah, that's my take.
Yeah. So I don't know. So I had I think that's good points, and I'm still a believer that the education system, I mean, especially at university level, is one of the best in the world. Actually, I don't know where. Last time I checked, I don't know where we were ranked, but it was one of the top 10 in the world in the Kenyan education system, and when it comes to the best education systems in the world. So imagine you're among the top 10. Yeah,
Really?
so, so with that in mind, just I mean whatever Olvin is doing in the community, I mean the do you usually call them GDSCs, right? And other communities at education, I mean at university level. I think you're supposed to do that as much as you can, so that and after that maybe you can go to high school too. So right now there are people who started spreading the news at universities. Now university know these things, and then you can go to the high schools. Maybe high school will spread it to primary school, and then so it will be like people will know from as early as possible, so they know these things. Yeah, so I saw there was a biotechnologist here. I don't know whether she's still in, and or maybe she said she loved biotechnology, and I wanted to ask a question with that regards. I don't know. Oh, or should I just ask a question? Maybe there's a biotechnologist in here, and I don't know. So my question, there's this I mean there's a project which I was working on some times back, and the project is called Toolshed. So Toolshed is more like, I don't know whether you've gone into production, and sometimes you're in production, and then so especially when you SSH, and when you SSH, you maybe you're there, and you're not used to Vim, and then you can't install VS Code there, and then you have to use those Vim like commands. So Toolshed we created Toolshed. Okay, I was maintaining it. I didn't create it. I was one of the maintainers. It was more like I write Elixir. So when you go to production and you are a Elixir developer, you go there and you get commands you're used to, not those things which are funny looking. So Toolshed was used majorly on a library called Nerves. Nerves is used to create embedded system in in Elixir, and and the yeah, so it's used to create embedded system in Elixir. And this involved, I mean it has something to do with technology, and the embedded system we use. So I saw this company called Farmbot. So Farmbot, they use more like robots. I don't know whether I should call them robots to do the farming. I mean, we do this, and they usually use also, this also introduce the GMOs and stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, in terms of in Kenya, the level we are in terms of using bots instead of human beings, because the good thing about this technology, the farm bot, the reason I was talking about Nerves is because Nerves is used to run the farm bots. So these farm bots, they automatically check the acidity of the soil, the temperature around that place, the moisture, everything, and then they tell you, they can say, okay, they can predict, okay, this is the best type of crop to plant here at this time of the month and stuff like that. So I don't know generally what to think of that, and the biotechnologist, if there's somebody here can tell me at what level we are in such a case, that is in Kenya, that is. And if is there anybody who has seen or working on a project of sort. Jack amebeba mkono.
Sijui the last time kunibeba.
Yeah, so I think you can always, unaweza beba tu mkono, you say something, it's okay, because sometimes is ona mtu, and I'll go to Maureen, aanze na, because I think any senior dev, and then I'll go to the, I don't know if
Really?
it's senior I don't know whether it's senior or senior dev then, yeah. Kuna mtu mwenye sijamsikia akiongea, by the way, and after Maureen I would love to hear Julius Kipiego and Rizwan, if I get the name right.
Of course. So just to correct you, it's
Yeah.
kuinua mkono, si kubeba mkono.
Okay.
And I'll pass it on to Julius. Do you have some points in relation to a idea or any addition to it?
And the reason why I brought up this topic is, as in Kenya right now, I know that people who are suffering. I mean, in terms of starvation and drought, and we can leverage technology to help with this. And what do you? Okay, let me just put it this way: what do you think can be done, or maybe any ideas, or no matter high level it is, I mean, what do you think is supposed to be done? What can be done? What do you think from your experience, from what you think is supposed to be done? That is.
For me, I don't have like very much insights in regards to that topic, but also interested to know what other people think, especially on the talk of having bots. I think on the Western world, they have really embraced using bots, especially so I don't know if it's bots, but so currently I'm in Germany, and what happens is you can rarely get phone call from any. I mean, if you order something online, you rarely get phone call. Like nobody calls you that, hey, your delivery is here. They don't do that. I think because of GDPR and things like that. So if your delivery is stuck somewhere, there's a delivery company I encountered where they use a telephone bot. I don't know if it's a telephone bot, but it's automated. You call and it's all in German. So you can imagine my German is very, very basic. So you call inquiring about your package and delivery, and the bot tells you that they can't understand, sorry, they can't understand English, but they're telling you they can't understand English in English. So I don't know why they do that, but it's pretty much annoying, and it's not a human being speaking. So I don't know if this in relation to the bots technology, how we are going. I don't know if it's helpful or not helpful, but from the Western world perspective, they've really, really embraced it. I mean, no one is physically there to receive your call to answer your questions, but it's kind of a telephone bot-ish to answer it. For me, it's pretty annoying, especially coming from Kenya, where we like communication, like direct communication and stuff. But in regards to the future and having more conversations using bots and stuff, yeah, I think that's also a pretty brilliant idea. But in relation to biotech, no idea.
Yeah, Maureen, you said you're in Germany. I was just wondering, okay, mbona siski accent? Like I was like around, like I was expecting you to speak English in a different way. No, that's supposed to be a joke. Yes.
We speak
So,
German, not English.
yeah, I thought you would speak English in a different accent. Yeah, but yeah. So I don't know, because with the Farmbot, I believe it's open source, and it's 100% open source, the code, and so I think majority of people are going into open source. I believe the only thing you're supposed to buy maybe their kits and stuff like that, which I don't know whether they're currently in Kenya. I don't think so. But there's another company. They hinted to me sometimes last year that they're starting operating in Kenya. They're supposed to start operating in southern Kenya. That's Migori, and southern Nyanza, sorry. So that's Migori or something like that. So I didn't follow up, so I don't know where they how they went. So people in Kisii area and stuff like that, they maybe you can follow up on those. And people who are interested in IoT, because I don't know if, Maureen, is Flutter or that used in anywhere in IoT or something like that, or there's nothing like that, or maybe embedded system. I can't say I'm an embedded system guru, but I do follow up. I try to be as much diverse as possible. And yeah, so they reached out sometimes last year, and they said they was trying to set up some of their bits, yeah. And sorry, let me mute this. Mute. Yes, sir. So that's that, and I think with that they said they were okay. Generally, things I was talking about talking about I mean looking at the weather and and advising farmers on which kind of crops to plant and stuff like that. I think that will go a long way in helping us fight this one of these. Sorry. So this will help. This will go a long way in helping us fight this one of these biggest challenges when it comes to maybe food insecurity and stuff like that. Yeah. So that I think the reason why I brought up the idea is just to make people think of it and know that something like that can be done, and you can always diversify when after learning maybe flat and understanding it. And the reason why some people, okay, we were talking about being taught C, so I think as much as Python is used here, so sometimes when it requires things which we communicate with the device directly, we usually write code in C. So C is very fundamental a programming language, that is. Yeah. Maureen, take it away.
Yeah,
Unless I see
think
Jack's hands up, unless Jack, you have something, or maybe you've not taken your hand down.
Yeah. No, I raised it. That talk has been just appreciated the farmers and that ecosystem. Don't need to think. I don't know how many of us here are building or participating in building this startup. Okay. Okay, so if
sorry, I didn't get the question.
oh yeah, how many here building or any startups? I don't know if you have that information.
You're breaking up. I don't know whether it's me, Jack. You're breaking up a little. I don't know whether it's me or everybody.
I can hear him well too. Yeah, yeah. Now it's better.
Okay.
Inakatika bado.
Okay, let's go to the next. We could just come back eventually.
Or maybe you can just type it on the chat.
Okay.
Yeah. But thank you all for your contribution. I think we are 13 minutes of time. But before we close, I wanted to know if anyone has idea of, okay, we've talked about what we are currently working on and our struggles and all that. But is anyone here having ideas on where you can point someone to, especially in the journey of getting better at what they do? In terms of time management and finishing projects, also getting better at what they are developing in terms of building better quality software. So generally links to such and also links to opportunities. So personally, I get so many people reaching out to me on LinkedIn in regards to Flutter roles. So if anyone here is a Flutter developer and is looking for opportunities, you can join, I think, our Flutter Kisumu group, and probably I'll reach out and share those roles that are being shared to me on my DM there once in a while, so that we can also share these opportunities. But I just want to know if anyone has ideas as we close, so that we don't also take so much time of your weekend. Ideas on how to improve our workflow for those having challenges with procrastination and also finishing up something that started. Yeah, Victor, I saw you raised your hand. Take it over.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you. My name is Victor. I've been doing Flutter like for six months and a bit, and my like my main point was like from Okod's earlier discussion about mentorship and that situation where you find like there is someone is taking a class or a group of like a lot of people, and at the end there is no success rate, you see, because for someone like me, like I started doing Flutter like 6 months ago, yeah, but I'm still, I can say, like kind of lost in continuous learning. You find yourself that there is no that confidence that what you have learned is good or ready to just go out there. Like you lack direction, and when maybe you approach someone.
You're muted again.
You muted yourself.
You left us at when you approach someone and.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Where was I? About
when you approach someone.
Yeah. But when you approach someone and that is, of course, you don't a student like teach you expect like just some direction, someone to approve like what you have done, someone to point you to some direction and tell you that, oh yeah, this is good, or you need to do this and this to better yourself. But you can't get that one-on-one connection from someone who is tending to other things, or a group of people, like a lot of people. You need like the way Okoth put it, like a group of 5 people. I'm sure that if someone concentrates on a group of 5 people, there is a greater success like rate of someone transitioning from writing projects to actually doing something that can reach up to production stage. Yeah, because when you're learning, there is that feeling that what you have learned is not enough, and there are things that you can't actually learn by yourself. Things like writing clean code, you don't know you don't know what are the best practices, like what is needed of you out in the industry. So you tend to just rotate like around the learning. Even the projects that you can work on are just the basic projects, or whether app to do apps and stuff, so I really feel that mentorship is very key, like especially to someone like students, campus students, or yeah, that's my take on what Okoth was saying about mentorship. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really, really great, because I feel many people get lost within that process of getting started with something and lacking proper direction. And so in the end, you get lost on where exactly to go, because there are so many resources, there are so many YouTube videos out there, there are so many articles to read, and you don't know exactly which one to use or something. So yeah, I agree with you. That's a really, really great point. And probably if anyone here is also in that situation where they are lost in the mentorship jungle, probably you can identify one person, especially if you're self-taught or learning things on your own. Identify one person and try to see, like, from the start, someone who will be able to trace your journey from the start to the end, that now you're making great progress, or you can do more about that. So yeah, that's a great point. And always feel free to reach out, disturb people, be the annoying last one, but disturb people in a good way, so that they don't blue tick you all the time. So that's it. Jack, I see you have raised your hand.
Yeah, just to add a few things in before Jack. Sorry.
Okay.
So Victor, I was typing and then I just wanted to tell you this in person because it must sound it will have sounded harsh. So yako ni imposter syndrome. Like, you see that's a real definition of imposter syndrome. So I think you're better than you think, and sometimes people are scared of what they're capable of, or maybe they don't know what they're capable of. And from the way you're talking, from my experience, is that unaogopa tu, si ati hauwezi. So that's the first thing. And then when it comes to perfection over progress, I prefer progress. You progress. So for me, I know I'm a perfectionist because the way I was taught. I mean, I was mentored. So nikiandika code, hata kama inakuanga to do app, I usually write it as if it is a product which is going in production. So nafanyanga everything. But that's it is much better to write no matter how that it is, but to progress. You know that, okay, today I learned about classes if you're doing OP, and I know about functions, I know about this. So instead of writing the best function somebody's supposed to write, but you know that this is how function is supposed to be written. So do not care about whether it's good or not. As long as it's working, you go forward. So hizo zingine you will get as you go, because the most important thing is understanding the basic. The basic is the core. That's my take on that.
Can I talk?
Yes, talk. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So I wanted to add on that as well. Victor, I'll touch a video yangu off. I think it's consuming a lot of data. So Victor, I had the same point when I raised my hand. I think you should just you should have more faith in yourself. Come on, try and look into the startup environment and see how many of them began. For example, just look at the first version that was pushed out by Twitter. It was terrible. If you think of a company like this Nigerian startup called Eden Life. Yeah, and if you listen to their story, the first rollout, the first push was it wasn't even an app. It was basically just a spreadsheet on Google Sheets that they were using to pull and push data into. So a lot of it is just us having faith and trusting in our skill and in our ability to grow long term. And for me, I usually try to encourage guys to start anything. Just come up solving any kind of problem you think is out there using tech, and then see if you can generate some interest into it. Even if it's 10 guys, 20 guys, it accumulates, it grows over time, and it gets you confident in what you're trying to do, as well as in your skills and in your capabilities. Alafu pia, on the chat I had asked if anyone is building any kind of startup. And in the beginning, Okoth alikuwa ameongea about something is building, and I'm always very, very interested in finding out, what is getting built out there, because I'm actively trying to get myself involved, in participating with the startups that are coming up. And of course, I don't know if kama you're looking for that kind of collaboration or a partnership, but I'd be very interested in talking about it. And anyone else who is building something, see whether we can, support each other and build each other. That's the main reason I usually try and come into such kind of forums, to network and to get connected to people who are also building.
Thanks, Jack. I'm always open, and like you know, I have a lot of downsides, and we can always discuss and see where we can help each other. Thank you. And Leona, fun.
I'll
Sorry.
send you a LinkedIn. I'll send you a LinkedIn. Just accept that, and then you can keep talking after.
Okay. Phantom, your hand was up. Sorry. You kept your hand long, and we sorry. You can say something if still among. No, by the screen name Phantom. You said your name is not Phantom though, but yeah, the screen name. I'm using the screen name.
You're muted.
I'm John. My question was on networking. Mara mingi tunaambiango ati people get a job because they know someone who knows someone. But I've been in this space for like the whole year. I know a few faces here. We've never interacted, but how can I just call DM you and see if I can get a role? Or how do I approach that connect, making the connection so that I can get a role?
So with the networking, I usually say this. Okay, to assume, right? You have an engineer, right? Somebody, ama kuna gari ama nyumba. You want to build a house, right? And then there's these two people. Someone amejenga nyumba, and you know he's built your friend's house, fundi, and you don't know his oral qualification, but umeona kama amejenga nyumba ya best yako. But there's another one mwenye amekuja na PhD on civil ama structural engineering, ama civil, ama those people who build houses. I don't know which degree they do. And then anakuja nakwambia ati I have this, anakupatia CV yake yenye iko na PhD nini, but you've never seen anything he's worked on. Unadhania wewe kama mtu mwenye anataka kujengewa nyumba or want to build a house, which person will you choose? The person who you've seen the house, or the person mwenye akona PhD and nini? Which one will you choose? I know for sure you'll choose someone mwenye umeona nyumba yake. So that's how networking works. So I asked Maureen, I want to build this project. Do you know anybody who can do it? And then Maureen, because she knows me and she knows that I've done this, and maybe we've interacted, she'll say, okay, I know this person. So in terms of networking, now we can do that. When you go to physical events, when you go to these remote events, you usually introduce yourself. You go talk to Maureen, you go talk to Joma Lawrence, you go talk to Victor, and you tell them what you're working on. And maybe you can always say, okay, I'm working on this. Check, this is my GitHub link. Go check it out. And I check it out and I say, okay, John has done this and I've seen this and it's a good thing. So when somebody look for somebody who has done that before, looking for somebody who he or she wants to do for them that thing, I'll recommend John. So you do talk to people, you share your projects, and you share things you've done, and then that's how it works.
Also to add on to that, that's a really good point. And I like the point that you mentioned about relating it to someone else's building. I mean, referrals. So it all narrows down to referrals. And for me, what I can say, what really helped me is also pushing yourself out there and sharing what you are building. So if you are John, you are in your house, no one else knows what you're doing except from you. But how will other people know what you're doing? So this involves sharing any little bit of what you're doing. Let's say if you're working on Flutter, you worked on a new widget or you tried to explore a new widget. What you do, like build a replica of that, share a screenshot of whatever you built and put it out there. That's when you get other people trying to reach out to you. Oh, so John is also working on Flutter. In fact, I also interacted with this widget and I found these challenges. Can you help me solve it? And that's how you like kind of build your network. And for me, from my experience, I think when getting started, if anyone knows Sigu, so Sigu was mentoring us and I was interning at Podi. And what he used to tell us is to share any little bit of what you are doing. And he pushed me into giving my first Flutter talk at Flutter GDG Kisumu, DevFest Kisumu, I think in 2019. And I really had like this small knowledge of Flutter, and yet someone is pushing you to talk about Flutter. So you are like, so what am I going to share like to people, especially the fact that many people attend DevFest. So I had imposter syndrome at first, but the fact that someone else was pushing me to do it made me like gain that confidence. So what you need to do, and after my talk, from my experience, I had so many people reaching out to me. Oh, I also got started into learning Flutter. What resources are you using? Or someone reaching out to you, hey Maureen, I saw someone looking for a Flutter engineer and I saw you present about Flutter. Are you open to a new opportunity? It all starts from somewhere. And what I can tell you is, don't go big, start by small little things, because those small little things will pile up somewhere someday. So yeah, and also reach out to people. If you are attending an event, especially physical events, don't sit in a corner alone drinking the food that you're given at an event. Talk to people, share what you are doing, even if it's like the most simplest thing that you've ever done in the world. Just share it, and you'll get something. Because I can say from me right now, daily I get people reaching out to me on LinkedIn, especially on opportunities, and I'm usually like, okay, this person doesn't know me, but they know me through whatever I posted, whatever article I wrote and shared. They don't physically know me, but they know me based on that. So any little small thing that you do and share it, someone else will see it and notice it. So don't think it too much extra. I mean, don't think too much about it. But yeah, you can start from somewhere, unless someone else has another point. But that's all for me. Victor.
Okay, so mine is like a question. Can you maybe give us some direction on technical rating, especially regarding with Flutter? And can we maybe, I personally, I wanted to start like 100 days of code challenge. And I was asking if I can combine it with like some rating, like what I did on a specific day. I can write something like sort of an article about it. Yeah, I was asking if it's possible, or if it's a good approach to learning and sharing, you know, on Twitter and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I see your quote. Unless you want to speak about it, yeah, but that's a really, really good approach, because it also helps you share, do more research. So as I say, don't think too much about it. So let's say today you learned about loops or asynchronous functions, and you really know how it works, and you have explored it in a sample app. So what do? How can you explain to a coach who doesn't know anything about it? Or how can you explain to me who doesn't know anything about it? So you just write like some key steps on how you can guide a total new person interacting with that from the start to the end. And then based on that, you start to write guidance on based on that. It's just like speaking to someone. You tell someone, okay, you want to go to Uhuru Park. So what do? You go to town, do this, do this. I mean, you just have like some small little steps that helps you explain the concept. And by that, after that, you find someone to help you review your article. And you can write, you don't have to write a very large article, but just something small on whatever you're doing, especially if it's like a 100-day challenge and you covered loops, just write something on loops and show an example code of what you did, because people learn more from those example codes. Yeah. Juma.
Yeah, just to add to add the power of internet is very, very well, just because like on my end, my role that I'm volunteering, I got it social media posting, somebody reached out, can you volunteer on this task? Yeah, why not? Just I was brought in, a learning process on it, then well and good. Then for technical writing, I think Google has got a good course for technical writing. I wish I could get the link at the moment, but I'm not able to get it. But if you're in the group, Flutter Kisumu, I'm able to share the technical link for Google course.
Awesome, that's really great. And congratulations on your role. But Juma, I have a question. You ni miwa unakula?
Yeah.
Juma said historically that he loves food, and yeah, so he was very categorical about that.
Ni masaa ya
Yeah.
snacks. Sasa anakula miwa.
Snacks tumetoka huko.
Si unakula miwa
Morini
kama
nilikwambia
snacks.
nitakana Morini nilikwambia you need to come back to Kenya, we give you something. Ile mahindi ulikuwa unauliza ile.
Anyway, do we have, okay, Davis raised his hand, so probably we can take a few more minutes before we officially close, so we are also eating into time. So Davis.
Hello. So yes, my name is Davis. I've been a mobile developer for 4 years. Yeah, with Flutter, and the reason as why I want to say this is more geared into being productive and how you can grow as a mobile, as a developer, or as a Flutter developer. There's this concept of getting faster at typing. In my thoughts, I do feel like how you type or how fast you type is actually connected to your thoughts. So the fastest programmers that I know are incredibly fast typers and navigate their code with just their keyboards. And I feel like if you can be able to type faster, you can really like put every thought into code. So yes, I think getting faster at typing, it's more of it's more hello.
Hello,
Yeah,
yes.
we can hear you. Sorry.
I
think I have an issue with my microphone.
Yeah,
but,
we can hear you right now. Yeah.
I'll just say it just as a point, and then if anyone can jump on it, I'll be thankful. It's more of like getting faster at typing. Your thoughts are connected into what your hands can do. Thank you.
Thank you, Davis. That's a really great point, because sometimes you hear like you are seated quietly still thinking, but someone is like, you're like, what are they really doing? So I think also getting better with typing is really, really helpful. I agree.
So try Vim then. You use less mouse and then you type more. Yeah, so I don't know.
How do you exit from Vim?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, but in regards to typing, are there like any suggestions on places that someone can do their practice? I mean, to practice typing faster.
I mean, anyone can do anything with IntelliJ's IDEs. I feel like the IntelliJ guys did the perfect job in creating their IDEs. And I found out this 2 years ago that you can actually code or do anything on Android Studio or any other IntelliJ IDE without your mouse. So there are these shortcuts that you can just find them in their documentations or whatever IDE that you're using. It will be very helpful.
Okay, thank you so much. That's a nice suggestion and idea. Any other point as we close? I see Davis has raised your hand, or that was from last time.
Oh yeah, that was from last time. Let me cancel it.
Okay, so if you check yeah, I see someone also shared typing.io. I'll check it out just to practice when I'm bored. And then also I see Okot shared the link to our WhatsApp group. So kindly join if you are interested to. And we mostly share topics in relation to Flutter and its associated technologies. So feel free to join. Any other thing that I wanted to mention is that if you have suggestions on where to get resources or opportunities, also feel free to share on the chat, especially for people who are looking forward to starting new roles in January. And also links to resources, especially if you're getting started with learning. Yeah, all that. So feel free to share on the chat as we wind up, or you can join our Flutter Kisumu group and always share those resources there. Other than that, I'd like us to take a group photo as we wind up. So I don't know how to make everyone on the frame.
Okot. I think after this niko na kesi na wewe.
I don't know. You can reach out to me, man. Paul, if I ask for forgiveness in front of everybody.
You ask for forgiveness. Okay, so I'd love us to take a group photo as we wind up. And maybe a quote or anyone. Okay, I'll give it up to Juma. Give us any pose or pose that you love us to take as we take a photo, and then I'll take a screenshot. What's that?
Mungekuwa karibu ningegawa sticker.
Okay.
Unaweza tumaanisha kuna pasi.
Okay. Anyway, tupatie pose ideas for the photo. I'll take the screenshot. So when you are ready, I am ready.
I'm not good at that. I'm at that.
Just say cheese and then something like. So tell us to say cheese, Maureen. At least cheese.
No, we can say Flutter. We can say Flutter.
Cheese. You can say cheese without smiling.
Or abuju.
Or that. Let's say that.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, Juma, you're going to lead this because I'm going to screenshot. So, okay, we are relying on you. When you're ready, I am.
So at the count of 3. 3, 2, 1. That.
Really? That?
Yeah, that.
Yeah, and
okay,
yeah,
another one maybe. Can check the lead. Okay, someone is saying Wakanda pose.
I don't know. What is it this way? I don't know.
I'll just take multiple at this point. Okay, nice to see you all and looking forward to meeting you all next year. We have the Flutter Forward event. I hope you are going to attend, right? I'm Wendy.
Resume chukua.
Sorry?
I thought it was online.
Ah,
Tunaenda, yeah.
No,
oh,
it's
mnaenda.
physical. It's physical.
It was, but they said it will be a hybrid.
Yeah, it's hybrid. It's both physical and virtual.
Maybe send a calendar invite to that.
No, I don't really have a calendar invite for that, but I think for this we are going to rely on Google's program. But initially I saw they had shared a link on if you want to attend or if you want to go as well. You can join via the link. I don't know if
I think it can check with Flutter Kenya. Flutter Kenya on Twitter. They posted a link on how to register on it.
Yeah. So you can also check the Flutter official Flutter Twitter. They have like the link to register, but that's just to register to attend online. For physical, I think it's been closed, but I'll find out and let you know. Otherwise, you can check from the Flutter Kenya Twitter as well. And hoping to meet you all. I have a lot of stickers I'll bring to Kenya, but I don't know how it will get to all of you. So probably I'll just give it to Okoth, provided Okoth usipatie nini watu wa kwenyu wa ushago. Hadi Getman ako na sticker ya Flutter.
Yeah, and just in conclusion, I think every resource we usually try to share the resources. So every resource which has been shared on the chat, and this video will be shared, I mean, after this. So yeah, so we try to share them to those who have attended. So we avoid spamming people. So we usually send to those who are have RSVP only.
Okay. I see someone is asking about Dash. I have no extra dashes, but I'm very sure in the Flutter Forward event, the Flutter team is going to come with lots more swags. So hopefully, if you are there, we get something extra. We'll take it and then maybe distribute to other people who would attend or something. But really looking forward to that event for the fact that we're having first ever big Flutter event in Kenya and in Africa. So that's really, really a great opportunity for us as Flutter devs to be seen by the world. So we must be seen. Yeah. So
Yes, yeah.
I think that's it. Unless someone has